So what is up, guys? Yeah, this has been a long wait, and yeah, first of all, sorry that I made some of you wait this long. I was actually surprised that even some people reached out to me, asked me when is the testimony coming, and yeah, I tried to do it once, then I was a bit interrupted. I had to go somewhere, and now I'm trying it the second time. Last time I did it, I went for a very long time, and I think I maybe did it too long. So maybe this time I can shorten it up a little bit, and maybe not expand as much as I did last time. So yeah, without wasting any time, this whole story of going to Korea actually begins last year when I came back from Korea. The first time I went there. After I came back, I really wanted to share this blessing with others, and I wanted to bring more people to Korea this time. So I decided to ask all of the people that were of age if they want to go to Korea next year, because I knew that it's going to be organized next year as well. I mean, the one that was now. And I asked if anyone wants to go, and there were 4 plus me. So 4 people that wanted to go. And so after some thinking, we're not rich to to have everyone go there, but we decided we will do fundraising. So we started doing fundraising. We did it every Sunday after Sunday service for 2 hours. We did fundraising in basically our own city in Vilnius. And so this is where it began. And if I expand on the experience of fundraising, then this video will be like 5 hours long. So all I'm gonna say is, fundraising was definitely a very impactful experience, and I could learn a lot through fundraising, even though it feels like you're only fundraising, but actually there's a lot of spiritual phenomena that takes place in fundraising. And I could really go through a lot of things while fundraising. And so we did our fundraising. We didn't collect all the money we need. We're actually still a bit in debt, but so when the time came when we have to already fly and we have to go to Korea, we will go to the airport. We decided to go early for some reason, because at first I suggested to go later, because I thought, our airport is not really big, so it's not like we need a lot of time. But we decided to go early, and we went there early, and we go to the pass control, and they stop us, and they ask, okay, so basically we had 2 people that are over 18, and all of the other 2 girls and 1 brother was under 18. And they said they need their parents' consent, that they are leaving European Union. And we were like, what? we didn't know that, because, well, at first when we bought the tickets to Korea, there was no mention of that. And also because last year when I went with the same guy that's under 18, and basically it was probably because we flew from Poland, not from Lithuania, they didn't ask for anything. So we didn't think we will need anything, but basically they said you need your parents' consent. And it's not just their parents' consent, like signed by their parents, it has to be signed by a legal person. So at that time, everything for me started crumbling down. I invested so much time, and these people with me invested so much time doing fundraising every Sunday, offering everything, and now they're telling us that we can't go. And so I started calling I called my dad. Then my dad called the parents, and the parents, they quickly organized themselves. Some of them were like driving, and they just turned around and went straight to the notary, the legal people, to make this document as soon as they can. And all of them went, and we were there standing there for like 30 or 40 minutes, not knowing what is happening, not knowing if they will make it. And at that point, all I could just do, I was just walking front and back and just praying, because I did not want to let this go. Like, we invested so much, and I didn't want all of that to just go away. So I was praying, and literally there was like around 20 minutes until they started the boarding of our flight, and we started receiving those documents. And finally everyone went through, and we went almost straight to the plane, like 5 minutes after we started boarding the plane. So yeah, and that was such a big relief, and that was already like a spiritual experience for me. So yeah, and I was so happy that everything went by okay, and we got to the plane and we traveled to Korea. So yeah, I won't expand on how we traveled, but we had a nice travel. We went to Korea, then we were greeted there. We stayed a bit there. We waited for more people to come to go as a group to Cheongpyeong. And yeah, so after that we arrived in Cheongpyeong. For me, Cheongpyeong wasn't new anymore because I was there last year. So yeah, and actually before saying the rest of the story, I want to also give a bit of context with what was my motivation, what was my intention with coming to Korea this time. So because last time in Korea was probably one of the most important and most impactful moments of my life. I mean, at that time I didn't really notice it. At that time I didn't really understand that, but that was really a moment when a lot of things changed in my life, and after that a lot of things changed in my life. So really I received a lot from that time being there, and I really feel like a new person after the first time I was there. So this time I felt like I don't really want to receive anything from there again. I'm not coming there to get something more, or it's not like my battery has drained and now I need all the things I received last time again so I can go for this year. No, I went there with intention of I want to be there as a servant, as a person that will help others, especially help those who are there the first time, and just be there for people, help them as much as I can, and with what I can. And so this was my intention of coming there, and it was very interesting because from the first day, literally the first day I come there, one brother comes up to me and tells me, I want to talk with you about something. I have some questions, and it was questions about True Mother and so on. And he was he had questions about it, and we could talk. And then he stood up and thanked me and said I helped him a lot, and we hugged. And I mean, it was only the first day, and already I felt so much love, and it was really great that from the first day I can already practice what I came there. So yeah, and that was the first day, and from that, all of the other days there was always like random moments where I could just be a helping hand. Another example was I was carrying this basically these like things on wheels that you can use to like carry big boxes and so on. I don't know, cartwheels. Maybe they call it something like that. So I was carrying it downhill to its original place. Cheongpyeong asked me to do it, and as I was carrying it, the European staff members were carrying boxes, and I just met them exactly at the same time as they were exiting another building. I was already halfway downhill, and I met them. I put their boxes on the cartwheel, and I had to push it back up again onto the mountain. And random moments like these. And also probably one of the most memorable one was I finished dinner or lunch, I don't remember, but I was walking uphill. Basically the place we live and we have lectures is like on top of the hill, and where we have breakfast, lunch, dinner, eat, and so on is downhill. around maybe 200 meters, 100 meters, but it's a very steep hill. So I was walking out of dinner or lunch. I don't remember, but I was walking out, and there was this lady, and like an older lady, maybe 70 years old, and she was on the ground. Looked like she's passed out, but then I saw that she's moving a bit. We didn't really understand what happened to her. We came to her. We don't speak Korean, so we couldn't really assist of anything. So I just decided, I picked her up on my arms, and I started carrying her to the office and to the building, basically same building where we eat. And I carried her, and as I was carrying her, there was around maybe I had to carry her for like 30 meters, but I have to go downhill as well, steep downhill. And at first it was fine. I was carrying her, and then maybe 5 meters were left. I already entered the building, and I just needed to carry her 5 more meters until I can put her on the bench. And for some reason, my arms just decided, nope, I will give up. And I was just trying to hold her, but my arms were just giving up. But I could still manage to slowly put her legs first, and there were other people there that could, assist me. So yeah, but I was a bit like, damn, my arms couldn't just wait for 5 more seconds, literally. So yeah, so that moment as well, and there were many others, but I don't want to expand too much because it will just take up a lot of its time. So also something interesting that I experienced there was because vigil prayers and chanyangs weren't anything like unusual to me anymore. It was something I was already used to because of being in Korea last year, and as well I participated in many vigil prayers and chanyangs when I was at home as well. So it wasn't something unusual. I could, in the first day already, I could just lean into the program and into the rhythm, and it was fine for me. So what was interesting, that the first chanyang session that we had, the place where we clap and we sing a song, and after that first chanyang, I look at my hands and I see that there's, on this hand, there was like a little bit of blood right here under the skin. And I was like, oh damn, I've never experienced that before. Basically, it was because last year when I was there, in the last chanyang that I participated, I said, okay, I will go full on, try hard mode. I will clap as hard as I can. I will sing as loud as I can. I will just give everything, to finish off. And then when I came to Korea this time, I said, okay, so I know that I can do it hard and I can, sing loudly. So what do I do this time? Do I just start doing it like weak and, singing not loudly? Or should I, offer my devotion and go as hard as I can? And for me, at least, in everything I do in life, my brain starts going and I end up doing it as hard as I can, even though I sometimes don't want to. But when the moment comes, I still do it as hard as I can. So I can't really fully control that, but it's like a blessing and a curse. It helped me achieve a lot of things in life. It also makes my life difficult sometimes, but it's okay. So yeah, so I was going as hard as I can every day for the whole 21 days. So I was clapping as hard as I can, and the chanyang sessions would last around 45 minutes. From 45 minutes, sometimes 45 minutes in the mornings, and then in the evenings it would be like 1 hour and something. You clap and then you go through different parts of your body, hitting yourself. So it's not like you're clapping the whole time, but you're clapping a lot of the time. So yeah, and I was doing it as hard as I can every day. And some of you probably saw the video of how my hands looked at the end of the 21 days. So that was an interesting experience. And from like spiritual experience that I had, like during vigils and chanyangs, what was interesting that a lot of times in vigil prayer, especially when we would have the moments when we sing or when we pray and we would hold our hands like this, and a lot of the times I would feel like this energy in these spaces, like something it felt like something is in my hand, basically. And sometimes it would even start moving around my hand, and it would go like here, and one time it even started slipping, and I decided, what will happen if I do this? And I started feeling the energy go from this arm on the... I mean, I know I sound crazy like saying all this, and now thinking about it, it sounds crazy, but even now, you know, I often experience this when I pray with my hands out like this. I experience, like, I feel as if someone is holding my hand, or like some kind of energy is in my hand, and it's like I physically feel it. That's what at least it feels like. So, you know, although it does sound a bit crazy, but that is what I experience. And so yeah, those were like very, and it was almost every vigil prayer this would happen, where I would feel this. What was also interesting, I never had a problem with falling asleep during like vigil prayers or like programs and so on. Rarely do I have, especially in vigil prayers. Last year I never had this problem, but this year for some reason I just couldn't be awake. Not for all but for, at least in the beginning, in the maybe first 1 week or 2 weeks, I was struggling to like keep myself up. And what was interesting, that I wouldn't even notice how my eyes would close, because as soon as my eyes would close, I would enter into a dream, and my dream would be that I'm still sitting there and I'm still doing something there. So I wasn't able to recognize that I'm falling asleep, and then I would just wake up, and it would feel like I would know, just my head was like bouncing like this, and it was very short periods that I would fall asleep. I don't know what was the maximum. I can't tell, because I was unconscious at that time. So yeah, but it felt like, very short doses of where I was just dozing off. I mean, to some degree it is justifiable, because what else I didn't mention is that every day I would wake up at 6:20, and I would go to Cheongpyeong prayer room. Then from there I would take off my shoes, and I would go barefoot to the tree of love. Then I would go uphill to the tree of heart, then to the tree of all things. Yeah, tree of all things, then tree of loyalty, then tree of blessing, then Hyojong tree, and then back to Cheongpyeong. And in all of those places I would pray, basically, for those specific things. Then I would go back to Cheongpyeong, pray there again, and then go to breakfast. So yeah, so I would wake up at 6:20, and we would go to sleep. Because of vigil prayer, we would go to sleep at around 2 or past 2. So I had 3.5 to 4 hours of sleep every day when I was there, sometimes even less. So to some degree my tiredness was justifiable, and I never took any naps in that duration of the pilgrimage. Only after the pilgrimage ended and we had free time, I took one nap, I think, because we just had nothing to do. And but in the duration of the pilgrimage I didn't take any naps. And so my tiredness was a bit justifiable, but it was weird because last time I also did it like that, and I didn't fall asleep during vigils. But maybe I used up more energy during the day this time, I think, as well. So yeah, this was my journey. Last year I did the same thing, but I didn't do it barefoot. This time I decided, okay, I can't do it literally the same way. I need to change up something. So I decided I will just take off my shoes. And from the tree of love to the blessing tree, it really doesn't make a big difference, because you're walking on cement or wood. But then when you would go from blessing tree to, I would go down, and you would enter this path to go to the Hyojong tree. It's a very rocky road, and this is where it would be painful to go barefoot. So it felt like some kind of a challenge, which was good, but it wasn't really that hard. But then God made sure that it becomes harder for me, and I will go into it later a bit. So yeah, what's other things that are important? Let's jump into maybe the pilgrimage that we had. So I'm not gonna recite all the places that we were, maybe, because I don't know if it has much meaning that I just recited. I would just say the most memorable and meaningful maybe things. And the first probably memorable and meaningful experience was going to, I don't know if I'm gonna say the order correctly, but first Cheongpyeong. For me, it was definitely a very memorable experience, because of several things. First of all, the whole pilgrimage was very, a very good experience, because in my class, when I was in school still, because we were a bit naughty, and I don't know, we didn't behave very well, we didn't get a lot of school trips. And so this whole experience for me really feel like the 4-day pilgrimage felt like a school trip. We were going around in a bus, full of young people. I had my friends next to me and so on, and it really felt like a school trip. And I always dreamed of having a school trip like that, and I never got to experience it. And this really felt like, that dream that was there finally being fulfilled. And Cheongpyeong really was, I feel like, the pinnacle of that experience as a school trip, because when we came there, I think we first went to the water park. That was really fun. We were singing, dancing, everything with the boys, and it was just very fun. And after that, we went to a concert. There was some kind of concert in that place, like a K-pop or something concert, and it was so funny. So we were going up there, me and the boys, and we started like seeing and hearing the concert and seeing the people, and everyone was just, some people were just sitting there. I mean, there were chairs there. Some people were just sitting there. Others were just standing there watching. Nothing was really happening. And I saw all that. I heard the music, and I just decided, I started running and like jumping, and others followed me, and we just started dancing there. And everyone, I mean, from the Europe team started dancing with us, and the singers there, they started to pay attention to us and so on. And the Koreans there that was sitting enjoying the show, they were like, looking at us, and then the cameraman was on us. Yeah, and that was just so much fun. We could just, especially when you're in another country, you feel even more free to express yourself. So I was just dancing as much as I want, as how I want, and basically just freely expressing what I want, and how I can dance and so on. So that was really fun. And then after that, we went to a arcade game place. Basically, I mean, it was bowling, there was billiard, there was all kinds of arcade games. We went there. First we played bowling, which was a bit hard because the holes were very small. I don't know, is it because Koreans have slim fingers or what, but the holes were very small, and at first it was hard, but at the end I got used to it, but it was already too late, so I couldn't get first place. Sadly. And after that we went to play billiard. That was also a lot of fun. We accidentally went over the time limit, because we were supposed to return to our hotels at 11 or 10, I don't remember. And in our final game, it was already around 3 minutes past the time we were supposed to be already in our hotel. But it was such an intense and exciting game that we really wanted to finish it, and we did finish it. And again, I lost, which is again not ideal, but I have to deal with it. And so that was fun. And then we went back to our hotel, and I did my condition. I have a condition that I do every day, so I did my condition, and I was already about to go to my room and go to sleep. And as I was next to my door, Roberto, from like across the hallway, is like, "Yo, Robbie, come here." And I was like, "Okay, I'll go to them." And I went there, and I opened the door, and I just see a room full of boys watching a movie, and I was like, and he's like, "Oh yeah, come in." And like, I was like, okay, I'll go in. So I went there. We watched the movie. I didn't go for all of it because I was a bit tired, and I maybe stayed there for like 30 minutes, then went to sleep. But yeah, but the next morning we got a bit of you know, how do I say this? What's the word? Basically, in Pyongmoon was like bad boys, and so on, and we got punished. I mean, not punished, but he just, you know, asked us to not to do it. I mean, there were other things as well that he mentioned, but that really didn't touch me. And yeah, but the thing I felt guilty for is that I stayed up later than we should have and didn't go to sleep. So yeah, I felt a bit bad, but you know, we learn from our mistakes. Yeah, and after that, I think we went to Busan. I mean, what was memorable for me that we went to Busan. We went to no, not Busan. I wanted to mention the church center in Seoul. So we went there, and then we went to like Cheongpyeong, I think, which was the one of the first churches in our movement. And yeah, it was where your parents got blessed. And yeah, I was walking around that house when I entered the room of Hyungjinim. That was really because last time I was there when we were at their graves, and I had a very emotional prayer in their grave, next to their grave. And this time when I entered his room, I just remembered all of that, and I started praying again, and you know, a lot of emotions started coming up, and yeah, I just had a good prayer there, and yeah, I could remember my promises, my vouchers to him. And yeah, so it was a very good experience there. Then we went to Busan. In Busan, we visited the first building, like, or I don't know if I can even call it a building. It was a small house made of cardboard. It was like a first church that, you know, your father made. And yeah, so we could see, you know, from what we started, and it's literally inspiration actually when you see that we started from that thing, and then now we go to Cheongpyeong, and there's this massive buildings, and the whole, you know, resort is owned by our church, and then these big palaces also, everything owned by our church, when we started from having a small cardboard house. So it's really inspiring how much, you know, your parents could build. And of course, I mean, the whole community invested into this for fundraising and so on. So it's really inspiring, you know, how much they achieved in one lifetime. So yeah, and yeah, so we went there, and from there on out, the challenges started. Basically, I don't want to say names, but hopefully, I mean, if they watch this video, it's okay. But basically, what happened is it was already late, and we were in Busan, and we went to the seaside. And as we went there, as I said, it was quite late. We were quite tired. I mean, I was quite tired, at least, and the person next to me. And there was singing going on in the bus. And at first it was okay, but then there were two people like next to us that, you know, didn't stop singing, and they were singing and singing. And you know, because I was tired, you know, the singing started annoying me more and more, and annoying the person that is sitting next to me. But I didn't want to be rude and tell them to, you know, stop singing. So I was just sitting there, but slowly, you know, a lot of negative thoughts started coming to my head, and I didn't control. I didn't fully push them away. I let them build up in my head, and I felt like this is where I made a mistake, and I started feeling like negative things towards them. And yeah, and after that, we finally stopped. We went to the seaside. We had a lot of fun time there, and we went back to the place where we need to sleep in Busan, of course, to the church center there. And as we went into the bus and started riding back there, I started feeling that, you know, something is wrong. And yeah, so we arrived, we go to the place where we need to sleep, and I already feel like I think I have a temperature or something. And for a bit of context, it was already the second week, or yeah, around second week. And for those first 2 weeks, a lot of people were getting sick, but I was not getting sick. But a lot of people were getting sick, and majority of people that got sick at the end got sick at that time, and I didn't get sick. But at that time, I started feeling like I'm getting sick, and I feel like it was more than just getting sickness, but because I trace it back to those negative thoughts, and now I will explain why. So basically, I go to sleep, I fall asleep, and as soon as I fall asleep, I enter into a dream. And in that dream, I'm in the same room, basically, where I was sleeping. And I was looking for a spot to sleep. And as I'm looking for a spot to sleep, I know this thing that basically, and I think it's scientifically proven as well, that it is best to sleep with your head pointing toward the east, south. I think it's just bad to sleep facing west. But all the other ones are okay. So I was just looking with my phone, where is north, south. I don't remember which one I was looking for, but I was just looking for where I need to sleep, and in what way should I point my sleeping bag. And as I was doing that, the guy that was singing, that was annoying me, came up to me and said, "Oh, what are you doing?" and started arguing with me that I'm doing it somehow wrong or something. And I became angry, and I punched him in the face. And as I punched him in the face, my whole arm became numb. Everything started hurting in my body, and I felt like I was paralyzed, and I just fell down to the ground, and everything was in so much pain. Like, it was so painful. I was screaming. And as I was screaming, I thought, wait, are these people? Because I remembered that I was asleep. And I was thinking, wait, can the people hear me? Or can the people around me hear me? Basically, it turns out they didn't hear me, so that was good. That means I was just screaming inside my dream, or I don't know what, spirit world or where. So then at some point, I started talking to myself, and I was telling myself, wait, I'm not that kind of person anymore. No, because I'm saying not that kind of person anymore, because I used to be that kind of person. I would not be able to control my anger. I would get into, a lot of fights, and I would, be very physical and so on. But I was telling myself that I'm not that kind of person anymore. I'm a loving person, and so on. And yeah. And as I was saying that, everything started coming back in order, and I stood up again. I started looking for a place, and again he came up to me. And again, he started arguing with me, and I just forgot everything I said before that, and I punched him in the face again. And I punched him, and again, the same thing happened. I would fall down, and everything was in so much pain. Like, it was so much pain. Like, I don't think I experienced that pain in real life ever. Everything in my body was hurting. And again, I was again telling myself, no, I'm not that kind of person anymore. I don't behave like this. I'm a loving person. I'm a peaceful person. And I started even like almost saying like, I mean, it's cringe to say it now, but almost like saying a poem in my heart. My love is as soft as a river. I am this good person, and so on. I'm not an angry person. I'm a peaceful person as a river, and so on. I mean, now it feels corny, but this was how I was speaking to myself. And then I stood up, and I saw him again, and then I hugged him. And as I hugged him, the whole room became bright where I was. And then there was a line of people, and everyone just started coming in to hug me. And I was hugging everyone, and then I woke up. But sadly, when I woke up, I was still in a lot of pain, and I understood that I'm probably sick right now. So yeah, and I still feel like it was, a bit of indemnity for, the thoughts I had and the times I punched him in the face, and I couldn't control my anger. So yeah, so I got sick, and I got really sick. the whole night after I woke up, I couldn't fall asleep the whole night after that, because my whole body was in so much pain. Like it felt like every bone is hurting, and I also had a temperature of around 39 degrees. But I had two options, because there was a lot of people that were sick. They had an option to go into a sick room, rest, and so on. But I decided, no, I will not rest. I will not take any time off. I will not miss any programs. I will be as enthusiastic as I can, and I will participate in everything I can, and everything that will be, basically. And I will not make this as an excuse to chill or rest. And that's what I did, and that was when things got actually hard. That was when, because physically I'm strong and so on, and so it's not too hard for me to go up the mountain, down the mountain, wake up early, and so on. I have a strong will and a strong body, so that was not hard. But after that, everything was very hard. And so as we went back to Cheongpyeong in the evening, and we had vigil prayer. As soon as we arrived, we had the option to go to vigil prayer. That time it was optional, but I said I need to go, and I went there while being sick, while having 39 temperature, and I said I will give my everything, even though I feel like I have nothing. So I prayed as hard as I can, like screaming as hard as I can, and after that, my throat was, it felt like I pierced it with a knife, because it was so painful after that. Maybe for the next 4 days, it was so painful to eat, because my throat was in so much pain, and it was hard to talk and scream and so on. But I still, even though my voice was dead, I tried screaming as much as I can. I was just basically suffocating myself. I'm kidding, but yeah. And the next big challenge was, after that vigil prayer, going to sleep and having to wake up at 6:20 to go through my route again. So I go to sleep then I check my temperature. It was like 38.8 or something. Basically, let's round it up to 39. And I go to sleep, I wake up, and I'm fully dead. I'm dead. I wake up to my alarm, I'm fully dead. But I'm like questioning my life decisions and everything. But I said, no, I need to go. I stood up and I started going. And damn, this time it was hard. Like, taking every step up, where I had to go up, felt like a challenge. And that was when I felt like I was being tested, although I never had a thought of giving up. But I felt like it actually felt hard and difficult. And to some degree, I enjoyed it, because I like these moments where, I get to show to myself that I really believe, and that, this means a lot to me, and that I am sincere in my faith and in what I believe in. And so now I'm actually really grateful that I was sick, because I could show to myself that my faith is genuine. Even when it's hard, I'm still gonna do it, and I'm gonna do more than, it would sound a bit egotistical, like do more than everyone else, but I'm not seeing it as a, like I'm better or something. It's not as that point of view, but I just want to sacrifice myself as much as I can for the sake of others. I'm very inspired by how Jesus lived, by how true parents lived, and I want to be that kind of person, and I want to be able to sacrifice as much as I can, so others don't need to go through that path. So this is my train of thought. It's not like I don't want to become better or than someone else, or that is not my motivation. I don't find any enjoyment in that. And maybe at some point, when I was younger, I did want to be the best, to be cool. But now my point of view is not like that. I actually want to be a servant of people. I don't want to be I really don't want to be a leader or a king or, someone like important that has authority. I just want to be a person that serves and that, carries the cross and that shows love. And this is what I want to become. So this was like being able to practice that and showing that I can do that I can take up, this difficulty. So yeah, so for the next 4 days, every program that I participate in was really hard. And the Cheongpyeong, I would still go there and do it as hard as I can. And yeah, it was pretty hard. And what felt like, I feel like what was like a gift from God after all of that was on the 4th day, or the 3rd day of me being sick, we went to a church nearby. I think it was in Sorak. Sorak Church. Went there and we participated a rally, peace rally, and we were basically going outside, shouting for unification of Korea. I still had the temperature there. I had a temperature, and we went outside, and it was 38 degrees with the sun blasting in our faces. I was literally, my whole face was white. People, I probably looked like a zombie to people, but I said, nah, I will do everything. And the next day we had like a ceremony where they would give us the peace ambassador diplomas. And basically they chose 8 people to be representatives that would take these diplomas in front of everybody. And I was one of them. And that was it. So I was like, oh, this feels like a, like some kind of thank you from God, that I invest all of it. That I invested all of that. And then I come there that same day, and they tell me at the last moment, they tell me, okay, and then after you do that, you will come back and you will enter again with only, there will be 2 of you and one other sister, and you will take another diploma. What was interesting is that I wasn't supposed to be there the second time. There was a person that was chosen to be there the second time, and somehow the last moment they mixed it up, and that person that was supposed to go there was a bit mad, but they mixed it up and they decided to send me there. So I went there and I took that diploma. And why it was meaningful for me, because True Mother was watching that Sunday service. We were told that she might be watching it, but after that they told us that she was watching that Sunday service. And yeah, that was just, it really felt like a thank you from God. And literally the next day I didn't feel sick anymore. I mean, I was still coughing, but I didn't have the temperature, and I felt like my energy levels came back. So yeah, I literally healed like in 4 days. But I didn't, I feel like it was really a spiritual battle. Sometimes we really focus on our physical body. We think like we can solve things by, drinking some medicine or some, but sometimes our spirit and our mindset has even more power than, that of medicine, I feel like. So yeah, so I think that's how I was, because some people, they were sick and they were sick for like 2 weeks and couldn't get out of the sick room. So I feel like a lot of it had to do with, beating the sickness in your head first. So yeah, so I got better, and I could finally return to my energy, to my normal energy levels and my normal enthusiasm, because even though I really wanted to be energetic, but I just didn't have it when I was sick, when I had a temperature. I mean, that's unavoidable. To some degree you are, your immune system and everything is fighting, so you're using a lot of energy for that. So yeah, and that was basically the last week when I got well, and I could spend the last week there being again myself, what felt like. And yeah, so the last key moments were we had great works. We had True Father Songwa, we had the 1111th vigil prayer. So yeah, so during that thing, that was a great experience, because that was probably, I think that was the first vigil prayer that was held in the Peace Center. Basically, it's like a big stadium that can support 20,000 people. And we had a vigil prayer there. And at first we were very far back in the stands there. But then after like oh no, it wasn't after the vigil, it was still before the vigil prayer. I don't remember, maybe mid vigil prayer. In the break, they some participants came to us and they said that they found seats next to the stage, I mean closer to the stage. So we went there. Oh my goodness, my camera is about to die. Well, yeah, so we went there, and yeah, that vigil prayer was great, and a lot of emotions came out and so on. And yeah, it was just a very good experience. And yeah, I mean, this whole trip was very nice. I'll probably have to cut off a bit of the video here because my camera is about to die, and I will probably have to shoot it one more part after I charge my battery because I don't have an extra battery. But yeah, I will, just in case, maybe I will stop the video here and then I will continue when I will charge back. Okay, so we're back now, and yeah, it turned out to be a good thing that my battery died, because yeah, I got to think a bit more, and I remember that I almost missed one of the most important parts of this whole trip, and that was meeting True Mother. Because before we went to that vigil prayer, I think it was the same day that we met True Mother in the morning. Basically, throughout this whole pilgrimage, it was never like fully sure that we will meet her or not, but finally in the end we were able to meet her, and this time it was a very different experience than what I experienced before, because as I said before, that I got sick, and at that time already, I mean, it was the end, I was still coughing a bit, but I never felt like anything else, like a temperature or something like that. I was just coughing a bit. And what was weird is that we went to the Cheongpyeong Palace, and we were standing on the stairs and waiting for True Mother. And all of a sudden, while we were waiting for True Mother, I started feeling like very dizzy, and I felt like I don't know, like my temperature is rising or so. I just felt not okay. I felt like something is wrong. And literally right before True Mother enters, my teammate, who is in front of me, turns around and says, "I'm not feeling okay, I need to go to the toilet." And he goes into the toilet, and literally when he goes into the toilet, True Mother, like 10 seconds after that, True Mother enters. And I was like, damn, that's sad. And what was interesting is that when True Mother entered, all of that went away. Like my dizziness, the feeling of being ill or anything, it just all went away. So it really felt like some kind of, I don't know, spiritual phenomena, like the evil spirits maybe next to me, you know, were afraid of True Mother's light or something. I don't know how to fully explain it, because I'm not the only one who went through this. I mean, I've met True Mother already maybe 5 or 4 times, I don't remember clearly, but I met her already many times, and this never happened to me before. Usually I would either start crying when I see her, or I don't know, just be very happy. But this time, yeah, that was weird, and I started asking other people, and it turned out that there were more people that, you know, felt this kind of way, where right before she enters or while she was there, they would feel dizzy and, you know, felt like ill or like something is wrong. So I mean, thankfully for me, it all went away as soon as she entered. And this time I really felt so free. I felt like True Mother is just literally, you know, someone I know closely, because yeah, I've spent, before this pilgrimage, I spent a lot of time in prayer, connecting to True Mother, and I felt like, and I had many dreams with her. I even had one dream where it was probably the most meaningful. I had many dreams with her, but the most memorable and most meaningful dream for me that I had with her was, it was right before the Bloom event in Germany, and I had a dream where I was in that event and I was presenting flowers to True Mother, and I gave her the flowers, and she took the flowers, and I went for a handshake, and she took my hand, and then she pulled me close to her, and she told me that you know, you are my son. And she hugged me. And yeah, and that was, I don't know, just a good dream, and I felt a lot of love through that. And so this time when we met her, I just felt so free. Anytime she asked some kind of question, or you know, said something, I would respond loudly, and I would not care, like if she's gonna think I'm weird or anything, because I just felt I felt very free. And yeah, so this time was really, really special for me, that I got to, you know, just feel free in front of her, and just freely express myself. And yeah, and as I said, then we had that vigil prayer, which was very nice. A lot of energy was there, and yeah, a lot of emotions came out. And yeah, and then I just remember one other like side story. It's like a blooper story. So as I said, that I was like every morning I would go through all the trees, and usually, you know, because it's very hot there, I would get sweaty, you know, from all the walking uphill, downhill, and so on. I mean, it's still like some sort of physical activity. So plus it's hot, and because of the sweat, it would attract a lot of these small, I don't know how, small flies. And I thought, you know, I felt wrong killing them, because my first instinct was just to, you know, kill every one of them, because there was so many of them, and they were like bumping into my face, and you know, it was irritating me. But I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this opportunity to train myself to love, to like love my enemy. And what was interesting, one time, literally, and what was weird, that literally they would be next to me, and then when I would come next to a tree and start praying, they would stop interrupting me. They would stop doing all of that, and then when I would stop praying, they would again come back and go onto my face. And basically, they would be with me the whole trip, from start to finish, almost. From not from the very start, but usually from around the tree of loyalty, they would come. And then after I go through all the trees, and as I was one time, as I was going down into Cheongpyeong, I thought, you know, I still had a couple around me, and I said, you know what, I will give you a kiss. And I just did this with my lips, and literally the last fly that was around my face went into, like, pressed onto my lips and then flew away. And that was just so funny, because it literally felt like a goodbye kiss. And yeah, I don't know, it's just a random moment that made me at that time very happy. So yeah, and it was interesting that they would all fly away as soon as I would get next to Cheongpyeong. I wouldn't even enter yet, but as I came closer, they would just all go away. So yeah, and I had other moments where there was a squirrel that came, like I was going downhill from the blessing tree, and a squirrel came out, and it just started like leading the path for me for like 20 meters, until there was another person came, and then it got scared and went away. But yeah, and then one more time when I was going to the Cheongpyeong tree, a snake like was passed through me. So yeah, those are like a bit smaller side stories that I remembered while my battery was charging. And yeah, so in general, let's already summarize it, because it's already a very long testimony. Damn. Yeah, to summarize, first of all, I'm really grateful for this experience, because this time I felt really a lot of love from brothers and sisters and from the community. It really felt like, you know, living in Cheongpyeong, it felt like you're living in a perfect world where everyone is supportive, everyone is there for you, everyone is, you know, loving and giving, and it really was such an amazing atmosphere there, and I really enjoyed it. And also this time I was a team leader there, and I just got an amazing team with me. It was so much fun having them together, you know. Shout out to you. And yeah, it was so nice. Everything for me was very nice, you know. Some people that went last time, they said that last time was better for them, but I feel like I can't really compare these two experiences, because last time for me, was more of like internal growth and you know, realizing many stuff. I mean, it will forever remain with me as like a very impactful period of my life. But this time for me was just living in Cheongpyeong, man. Just enjoying the time with my brothers and sisters, loving them and getting love back from them. It was really amazing. And of course the schedule sometimes was quite intense, but to some degree I like it like that. I like when it's intense. I like when it's hard. I like when I get to challenge myself and push myself, because at the end of that, I feel like there's always a big blessing when you go through it, when you push through it. There's always a big blessing waiting at the end, and I feel like I did receive that big blessing at the end, and I came back from there feeling that I experienced everything there, and I did everything there that I wanted, and I feel like everything I could have got from there, everything I could have, maybe I can't say fully everything I could have I gave. I think it's wrong to think like that. I think I can always give more, of course, but I feel like I truly did push myself, and I truly did, I truly tried to push myself and do more. So from that perspective, I'm really happy with how the whole pilgrimage went, and yeah, I'm really thankful for the staff, for just everyone that was there, the participants, and just the people in Cheongpyeong who really made that experience very wholesome. And yeah, hopefully I really want to go to the opening of Cheongwon-gun, so maybe this will be my next time in Korea, but probably not the pilgrimage, because next year, this is a mini spoiler. I want to make me and Marco, maybe we'll find some other people as helpers with this, but I really want to make a 18+ workshop in Europe and create this Cheongpyeong in Europe, not just in Korea. So yeah, that would be pretty much, I think, it from me. All that I have to share. It already became a very long video. I don't know how many people will actually watch through all of it, but it really warmed my heart, the fact that some people reached out to me and asked me when is the testimony coming, and yeah, it just really warmed my heart, because I think maybe it's something we all struggle with, self-value, or thinking the value of our opinion and so on. And it's really nice to hear that someone cares and someone appreciates it, and someone wants to hear my opinion or my experience. So that was really nice. And yeah, thank you everyone that stuck unto the end, and thank you everyone who supports me and encourages me. I'm really grateful, because I would be nowhere without this support and without this love that I get from the community. So yeah, I'm very grateful and thankful to all of you who watched, and yeah, I don't know, see you next time. I don't know when that will be, but yeah, thank you and bye bye.